halfway point, town meeting report. Legislature is about to go on break, and I'm going to try and do a report by myself today. We have a number of things going on. It's really busy for people. I haven't been able to get somebody to be able to break out a committee, so I'm going to try and get something down by myself today, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, and welcome to another edition of Montpelier Connection. I'm Representative Mike Mrowicki, State Representative for the Wyndham 5 District of Putney, Dummerston, and Westminster. Coming to you from the State House today. We are at the midway point of the 2011 legislative session, and it's another snowy day in Vermont in what has been a good old-fashioned snowy Vermont winter. The legislature has certainly been busy. The incoming administration of our own Governor Shumlin has been busily putting together its agenda and putting it forward. Economic recovery is the first priority of the administration and the legislature right now. Along with that, we are trying to balance the needs of those who are the vulnerable Vermonters who really depend on us. I'm talking mostly about the aged, very young children, disabled. These are the people who really depend on us, and right now there's a lot of work going on trying to balance the budget needs and balance the considerations of all Vermonters in presenting a balanced budget due to a revenue shortfall that we're experiencing. Once again, we're facing a budget shortfall of significant proportions, $176 million out of a total budget of just over $1 billion. So that's a significant amount, more than 10% of our budget. We are working hard, though, to make sure that all the factors that can influence our economic recovery and keep it moving forward are being covered. Several of the topics that the governor has put forward are what we're working together on. And what I'd like to say, first of all, is that the biggest difference I've seen this year right across the board has been a greater sense that we're working together with the administration in a way that we haven't done for quite a while. There's difficulties, there's challenges in the budget, but one of the things I'm hearing from all stakeholders is that this administration has been more open to working together and presenting a budget than we've seen in a while. The Appropriations Committee in the House is working hard, and what they're saying is that they've had the entire budget for a longer time than they've had before instead of getting it in pieces. In regards to the governor's plan to keep us on economic recovery, there are certain drivers that we all agree on that we need to address. Right at the top of that list is healthcare reform. After that, we're looking at broadband access and how that can be an economic driver. In addressing climate change, we also feel is something we need to do for the environment, as well as look at the opportunities that a green economy will bring to us. We also want to continue supporting our good educational system. Vermont has really exemplary educational outcomes, and we want to continue to support our children and their teachers. Our children are working hard, the teachers are working hard, we're getting good outcomes, and we want to maintain that. One of the challenges we face, though, is how do we continue funding that? And funding that in as equitable a way as we can. It's been something that's been worked on for the last 20 years, precipitated by the Supreme Court's Brigham decision, which led to the Equal Education Opportunity Act, or Act 60. But as we continue to wrestle with the funding dilemmas and the sense of greater equity, we want to make sure that our children get supported. They're working hard. We want to make sure that they have the resources and that our teachers are supported in providing those supports, leadership in education. One of the drivers for town budgets, educational budgets, personal budgets is healthcare reform. We are on a trajectory now where healthcare costs continue to just climb uncontrollably. There's no way that we can continue. There's no way that it's sustainable with the way healthcare costs have been rising. The status quo is not working. We're clear we have to do something. We're clear that what we want to do, again, is balance those very important health outcomes, because as a nation, our health outcomes are falling. We're now 17th out of industrial nations in health outcomes and longevity. Vermont is again, the healthiest state in the country. One of the reasons why I think we should be the leader here and provide the leadership to show that we can create a system that contains healthcare costs, covers all of us, and creates better health outcomes for us all. To that end, the governor has put together a team that we are hoping to bring some to Brattleboro for a forum to explain the healthcare system that we're proposing, to get feedback, and to help this process move forward. It's a huge undertaking, and the governor and the legislature are working together to try and break this into pieces that are manageable and that will all fit together in the end to create a universal system, a single board in leadership position. One of the things that we're clear about is leadership position. One of the things that we're clear about is the plan that was first proffered by Dr. William Shaw is a great blueprint for how to move forward. If you're interested in the specifics of that plan, on the legislative website, which is www.leg.bt.state.us, you'll see quite a few documents that are available for you to check out. The specifics of that plan. One of the first things that you'll see in the graphics put together are the current healthcare costs, which the chart puts right off the top of the page, and the plan for us to rein in health care costs and at the same time save money and cover all Vermonters. I believe this year we are going to spend over $5 billion on our healthcare system. I think in 2006 we spent almost $4 billion. In such a short time, we've had an incredible rate of increased costs. At the same time, many people experiencing less coverage for more cost. And this is not an equitable system. It's not sustainable, and it's not the way we want to get health care. It's not on track for the kind of healthcare system that Vermonters deserve. One of the things that we want to make sure is we go slow. We present our work in a deliberative fashion that gets as much feedback from as many people that we can, and we want to make sure we do it right. So we encourage you to contact all legislators, officials in the Department of Health and in the Healthcare Reform Administration. The bottom line is that we're trying to control costs, increase outcomes, and we're confident that it's a single-payer system, such as most other industrial nations now have. That's the way to go for this. And from what we're experiencing in municipal budgets, education budgets, personal budgets, it's clear that the current system is unsustainable, and we have to act now. Another initiative of the governor's is broadband. We are getting closer, and I know many have heard for years now that we're trying to get universal access broadband, just the way we're trying to get universal access for healthcare. And in some ways, it's another economic driver that we can't ignore. The rest of the world is experiencing much greater access than we do. There's many third world countries that experience better broadband access, and that's where we're moving to. One of the things we believe will help us get to that outcome is there's a lot of money on the table right now. The resources are there, and there's a lot of work being done to coordinate the efforts that are happening around the state. I think the plan is twofold. We're going to use those resources we have, whether it's from capital funds that the state has availed itself of, or federal ARA money, the Reinvestment in American Recovery Act. And we're going to pull that money together and make sure that we're hoping by 2014 we can make use of federal money. The piece that's driving us is that the federal ARA money expires in 2014. If we don't use it by then, it's gone. We need to make use of those resources, and that's really been pushing us to bring the various stakeholders together and make this happen. My understanding of the plan is twofold. What we're going to do is strengthen the current infrastructure so it can be branched out. Step one is to strengthen the existing fiber networks so they can then support an umbrella of Wi-Fi that will cover the state with both telephone and broadband coverage. These 4G networks are what's used in Europe and third world countries now, and they're effective even in terrain similar to Vermont, which are hilly, sometimes not very populated, and hard to reach areas. We're confident that it's been done other places and we can do it now, and I think we have the will and the resources to move us in that direction. Some of the other things that we're working on, in the committee that I serve on, House Human Services, that we feel are important to the quality of life of Vermonters is there's a bill on palliative care. And one of the things that we're trying to do is just expand the awareness of palliative care, both among the general population and even the medical population. Palliative care basically comes down to how do we best support people during a life-threatening or a life-changing illness. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that only occurs at the end of life, although most of the time palliative care is associated with hospice care. One of the things that we're finding out is that there's a lot we can do to expand the awareness so people know to ask for it, so physicians have better resources to call upon. The House Human Services is working hard to try to work together with the various stakeholders and make sure that people have access to the education, again, both the general population and medical providers, so that they can provide people with the best care that enhances the quality of life as they go through either a life-changing or a life-threatening illness. One of the things that we found very fascinating is that this is an area where there's some work going on right now to encourage that. And some of the research shows that one of the cultural changes that I think we may have to realize is that sometimes palliative care needs to work alongside curative treatments, but that especially as we head towards the end of our lives with a life-threatening illness, sometimes the heroic measures which are available through the technology of modern medicine are not necessarily producing the best outcomes and not necessarily enhancing quality of life the way we hope to. Some research is showing, for example, that you take a person with stage 4 lung cancer that has metastasized. For those people who start to undertake heroic treatments that may hope to stem the disease, and right alongside them, study group of people who just go into palliative care, where their pain is managed, they're able to stay home, able to stay comfortable and with family and friends right up to the end. The interesting piece of this is in that study group, the people who opted for for palliative care, as opposed to those who were taking the heroic measures, whether it's chemo or radiation, the people who were receiving just palliative care were actually living 2 months longer than the people who were taking the curative treatments, the heroic treatments. And alongside that, the family and the patients were expressing that the quality of life was much greater for them. I know for years we've been depending on technology to save us and provide the best outcomes, but it seems that there is a time where it might not be the best thing for us. I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Dr. Mehmet Oz, but he is somebody who is a heart surgeon and somebody who uses complementary medicine such as meditation with his patients. And he's somebody who's become somewhat of a popular and quite recognized figure in this, and he's somebody that you might want to look into his work to see how complementary treatments and modern technology is not necessarily always the best way to go. Something else that's very important to me and to many other people who take care of our children is a bill that I'm one of the sponsors of in the House Human Services Committee to help child care workers around the state organize. I believe, just like the union workers in Wisconsin that I support, that child care workers here in Vermont deserve the right to organize. They deserve the right to have a voice at the table for various workings of how things go that affect them and the children, and that if we can increase wages, benefits, and create a more stable workforce, this will be another enhancement to the quality of care that we want for our children. As someone who's been in the field for a while, I know one of the clear markers for a quality program is stability of staff. One of the things that prevents stability of staff for many home centers, for many larger centers, is it's hard to find the resources to pay a living wage to people who take care of our children. Early educators are not recognized the way school-age educators are, and not compensated the way they are. I don't think we're looking for packages similar to what school-age educators are getting, but we do want a voice at the table. We do want to help move things along, and I think a first step is going to be how best to do that. And a lot of people feel like the right to organize and to organize as a statewide union is the way to go, and we're going to be working to move that along this year. As always, the legislative process is a slow and deliberative process, as it was intended to be by the founders of Vermont. And we are going to be looking to see how we can take the deliberations, hear from as many stakeholders as we can, and make sure we get to a place that can move this forward. As we head into the second part of the legislature, after the town meeting break, we get to a place where the legislature calls crossover. That's where bills that started in the House of Representatives move over to the Senate, and bills that were in the Senate move over to the House. A bill has to pass both houses and then go to the governor before it can become a law, and that process is moved along by the crossover deadline. We are probably going to be dealing with the budget in the next month. As I mentioned earlier, we have a budget shortfall we need to reconcile, and there are a lot of people working hard to do do that and make sure Vermont stays on the road to economic recovery. And along with that, balancing the needs of all. So we want to hear from you. As always, most important thing is to make sure that messages are carried into Montpelier. So contact information for all carried into Montpelier. So contact information for all the local representatives is on the legislative website, which is www.leg.state.vt.us. Along with that, you can find contact information for me at my website, which is wyndham5.net. As we move into the second half of the legislative session for your part-time citizen legislature, we will continue to give you reports from the State House and give you reports with your local legislators and keep you up to date. And until next time, this is State Representative Mike Mrowicki saying thank you to all the people at BCTV for bringing the State House closer to you, and please keep in touch. Bye-bye now.